In a sleepy corner of Pune, Maharashtra, CCDS, the Center for Communication and Development Studies, has thrown open its doors for students and like-minded people to come read, watch movies and hang out. They call it open space. It is from here that Hutakshi Doctor runs Infochange, an online magazine which talks about issues of social justice. This is bottom-up journalism, detailed articles about subjects that the mainstream media does not cover. The news and reports comes from the ground, from sources, and from the people who are at the other end of the issues.
From the start, Infochange was conceptualized as this broad-based project that would reach out beyond the seminar rooms and away from that little tight circle of activists talking to each other and NGO walas talking to each other and policymakers talking to activists and vice versa. So from the start we knew that we wanted to break away from this. We wanted to take this information out to the people, through the people, in this case English language reading and speaking people. But that is the limitation we presently have.
Infochange started in 2001 when the internet was not widespread in India, but Hutakshi was certain the numbers would grow.
We used to find that in the early years, most of our readership was from the metropolitan cities. And now we're finding this is changing. We're finding so many readers coming in from small town India. And we're finding that this project now has more of a relevance perhaps to individuals in small town India.
Although they have had researchers in the past, the full-time team at Infochange is Hutakshi and webmaster Vijay Narvekar, both manning a busy site.
We get about 1,500 to 2,000 people every day, and depending upon the time when we send out newsletters, sometimes the traffic is more. And roughly about 60 to 70,000 people per month with our website.
To keep the readers satisfied, Infochange has hundreds of unbylined news updates which are written in-house from secondary sources on a daily basis, and 300 original byline stories uploaded per year from their various contributors.
There are over 450 people who have contributed and continue to contribute regularly to Infochange. A lot of them are development journalists who have spent a lifetime covering issues related to poverty or agriculture or food security, women's rights, whatever, both in the mainstream media and outside of it. Many of them are people who have stepped out of the mainstream media, like myself, because we believe that the mainstream wasn't providing sufficient space to issues related to social exclusion, marginalized populations, etc.
Putting together an alternative website which would draw in crowds needed careful consideration.
To kind of viewers who visit the website, the interests, what they'll go through, looking at the website or the content they go through, and navigation part, that's important, and the font readability and accessibility of the website, how good the website can be browsed or looked into.
Infochange experiments with both video and audio platforms and gives its written stories to be translated and used by regional papers. But unless the online journal comes up with a profitable financial plan, sustaining itself will be quite difficult. As of now, its annual budget is under rupees 30 lakhs, which is covered mostly by grants.
We have been getting grants from various donors, including the Tata Trust, ICICI Bank, Ford Foundation, which is presently still funding us. So we haven't really been able to break this dilemma of how to make this a self-sustaining project. So yes, funding and how to build the revenues on a website such as this in the future, that is a major concern for CCDS at present.
Infochange might be unsure of its sustainability model, but for its readers, it has definitely provided an alternate space.